Now things have been going absolutely insane for the CS market. Obviously we saw a peak of $5 billion and now we're back down to 4.5. That's because nearly everything all across the board has pretty much crashed. Starting off with our case market right here, you can see that the majority of cases are down quite significantly in the 5-day and 7-day graphs. It's honestly not too big of a surprise the way we saw a crazy run up of these things. And honestly, if we want to look at the 1 month and past couple months of these cases, they are still up rather significantly. It's not something that I'm really worried about, but a month ago I talked about how I thought there was going to be a hype coming for cases based off everything we were seeing. Exactly that, perfectly predicted it, and obviously there is always that downturn afterwards. I definitely expect a lot of these rare cases to still sit in a very comfortable position. A lot of them are still going to be up long term, and that's exactly why we're investing here. We're not investing for the hype period, we're not investing for today or tomorrow, we're investing for multiple years down the line. Looking at unboxing numbers, looking at the fundamentals, we're still seeing a very strong market. It's just obviously not going to peak like it crazy did beforehand, and this is definitely not the only item that's been going down rather significantly. SkinSwap is today's sponsor, and they're also sponsoring you with their exclusive new reward system with a reward of up to $50 today when you're using code MASTER. They have mastered the skins game, offering one of the largest selections of skins if you're looking to trade out your old ones, one of the best rates in the market if you're trying to sell off instantly, and it's completely safe. And they've got their own buying page which is offering a massive 40% discount on every single skin they have. So what are you waiting for? Claim your exclusive up to $50 rewards by using code MASTER on SkinSwap. Now if you thought the case market was crashing, I want to direct you to the high tier items because those are down even more significantly. Something about your gloves being down 25 to 30% in just the past couple of days is absolutely insane. And some of these, if we want to look at the 6 months, they've eliminated pretty much all of that real big growth. It's something that really is common with a high tier market because there is such low liquidity on some of these items. There can have some pretty drastic price movement. Now I will definitely say there is probably a lot of outside influence playing in here, and some of these items like your karambit Dopplers are still up rather significantly over the 30 days, which is really good for investors. But honestly, we were seeing just way too unsustainable growth inside this area. These items were going absolutely crazy for no apparent reason other than just the hype was there, and that's honestly something that's not too uncommon inside of this area, but it always corrects itself. Every time we see a crazy price spike, we do see a correction therefore after. I would definitely say with these high tier items, I'm still not investing into them. I still think these prices are potentially a little bit inflated, but they're significantly lower than what we were seeing previously, which means you do want to get into them. Now could be an opportune time. Now one really important thing to remember is we're only a couple weeks away from the actual Austin Major beginning. Remember, we start off with stage 1 where we've got 16 teams, 8 of which are going to be moving on into stage 2 where they're going to meet these 8 teams right here, and then 8 of these teams are moving off into the final stage 3 where they're playing against the top tier competition. Very important if you want to make an investment based off past major stickers, potentially trying to get the idea that Austin Major will not be borderless or something along those lines. You're going to have about 2 to 3 weeks to get it in on this. If we want to look at some of the data, obviously the application numbers for these older stickers are definitely not the strongest right now because there's so many options for borderless stickers. It's going to be interesting to see what exactly happens for the Austin Major and if we actually see some brand new looking stickers. Now obviously we talked about the dramatic loss that we've seen all across the board for a lot of different items, specifically in the more expensive realm, but it's really important to look at the context of what we're seeing inside of this area, specifically with tweets like this saying that items are down 50%. If we want to look at them, some of them are definitely down, but if we want to look at the others, if we want to look at a 5-day graph, they're actually equivalent to what we were seeing 5 days ago. I think it's very important that when we see situations like this, we do realize the context of not buying at the top. Obviously, you are bound to lose if you're buying skins that are up 50-60% over the past 1 or 2 days. There's not a strong opportunity when we're talking about an investment of buying right now. Usually you can be a lot more precise when we're talking about investing, and this is a great example of that. Obviously some of these items are indeed down. Something like your hot rod is down a little bit more than obviously what people would expect, but I think it's a great lesson to be learned here that we should not be buying at the top, especially for CS investing when the market is so volatile in a situation like this. Now with everything crashing nearly all across the board, there's one investment that's still been on a very strong trajectory. That's going to be your filler skins. I would highly suggest if you're trying to get into the market for filler skins right now could be a very strong opportunity. If you want to look at them, none of them have really gone down other than maybe a normal fluctuation in the past 7 days or 5 days or 24 hours. They have not crashed amongst with a lot of these other items when it comes for an investment. Therefore, if you're looking for something that's a little bit safer, and it's definitely going to be a slower mover over time. Don't get me wrong, they're not going to explode overnight like they did when they got removed, but there's a huge opportunity here talking about these light blue skins. The blue skins definitely have an opportunity as well. Remember, you still have some of those brand new skins coming in. There's going to be a little bit more competition in that realm, but I would highly suggest if you want something that's going to be a strong long-term investment that obviously is not crashing down right now, now, filler skins could be a perfect opportunity. Now talking about everything relating to the Armory, we're still seeing some pretty consistent trends among the board. The character craft and the elemental craft are still dominating in their respective areas with unboxing ROIs, but also the application numbers. They are number 1 and 2 for my potential investments if they do get removed. The XM1014 is actually profitable right now, but the opportunity is probably going to be in the fever case, resting at around $1. It definitely provides the best return for your stars, especially in a consistent level. I would say the gallery case has an investment opportunity. It's just not down to that price point I would personally want it at yet. Your sport and field is a little bit higher than I would expect ROI wise, but everything else is going to be relatively low. This is your overpass, graphic collection, and especially the train, which is the lowest ROI we're seeing all across the board, which is absolutely insane. Now finally getting to the most interesting part about the brand new update, which we really haven't hit on at all so far. It's going to be the mission. So you've probably seen a lot about this so far. We're going to be very interested to see what this potentially leads to, because right now it's kind of just there. It's going to be giving you a little bit of bonus XP, but I think there's a huge opportunity. The fact that we're getting this now in, whether it's an operation, whether it's something down the line, I think this is a very good sign of things to come, because it shows Valve is still actively working on this area. We also got some brand new community maps, which is very interesting as well. I would like to see a lot more inside of this area. Missions is a very good addition to the game. I'm really excited to see what this leads to. On its own, it's cool, but I'm really excited to see the implication of an update like this. What's going to be next? What's going to be down the line? And is this something potentially working towards an operation at the end of the day? That's what I care the most about, obviously, in this situation. Now, with how crazy these prices have been dropping, it does raise a reasonable question of should you be buying now? And it's very dependent on the specific commodity. If we're talking about rare cases, in my honest opinion, I think it's always a good idea to potentially be dollar cost averaging in or doing whatever you want for your subsequent investment. A little bit more is going to be when we're talking about the rare items, which are extremely expensive, or just skins in general. Those are a lot more volatile. In my honest opinion, the rare case market is a lot easier to understand than the rare item market that are extremely expensive. I personally have not really been touching the extremely expensive item market for a while, just because it's so volatile, because the liquidity is so low. I think it's a lot more risky than I think a lot of people realize, as been shown by the past week. Prices can go up and they can go down very quickly because the amount of people holding these items isn't that crazy large, but it's definitely a very specific situation. I personally would not be buying right now just because we don't know where the market is going to go, but if you want to get in, obviously the prices are significantly lower than they were just a week ago. Now the opposite side of that coin, should you be selling right now? In my honest opinion, I think this is once again a very lackluster opportunity, but I think you're probably going to be better off just holding on to your items. Obviously, we've missed this hype period. If you're looking to sell, it was 4 or 5 days ago when we saw the prices peak, not right now. Selling at a low price right now doesn't really make a ton of sense to me unless you desperately need the money. We're talking about rare cases. I think that's a huge loss selling right now. Other more exclusive items, more expensive items, there is an argument to be made there because they still may be up very significantly in the past 30 or 60 days. So you're definitely going to have to play it by each specific situation. But that's all I got with these watching. Have a great rest of your day.